Now, there's no shortage of new food trends out there that capture our attention and imagination. And Dr. Darren Green has the latest information on a way of eating that comes from a region very far north from here. It's called the Nordic diet. Dr. Darren Green, great to have you here, Signore. What is this new trend that people are talking about, the Nordic diet?
Yeah, well, it hails from the north. So the Nordic area is obviously Scandinavia,
yes,
Norway, Denmark, Finland.
Iceland.
It's extremely cold. Their winters are
gritty, hard people, strong
I think
people.
of Vikings when I think of those people. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Tough crowd.
So what is it all about?
It's about the food stuffs that they actually endure during these winter months, and they have long, cold winters. And the diet is actually composed of, essentially, excludes processed foods, for example. It contains fish, specifically fish like herring. Have you ever heard of herring? We see pickled herring.
Red herring?
Yes, herring, mackerel, salmon.
Yeah.
The vegetables compose a seasonal produce of things like cabbage, kale, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. So a lot of that component. And then obviously things like whole berries, which can also be enjoyed basically throughout the year. But so that's also quite important. But you know, you're looking at reduced amount of processed foods. You're looking at foods high in good fish, for example.
Yeah. Now, as one of my favorite anchors would ask is, why now? Richard Queso, why now? Why is it getting so much attention now?
Tis the season to avoid metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome is all the lifestyle diseases associated with bad lifestyle choices in terms of how we prepare food, in terms of the oils involved, the good fats, the unsaturated fats versus the bad fats, for example. Also understanding the power of food being medicine at the moment in terms of the high content of omega-3. They, for example, use high content of canola oil.
Okay.
Compared to the Mediterranean diet, for example, where they love their olive oil, obviously. The Greeks love their olive oil. But so essential differences in that component, I must say.
Yeah, I guess the essential question now is to ask, I mean, we're way down here in the south, where we face different conditions. Our winters aren't as cold. Our bodies process the environment differently. So how adaptable or applicable is that Nordic diet then to us here in South Africa or anywhere else in the world?
100%. The advantages of the Nordic diet is firstly that it's affordable. You know, so the actual ingredients aren't as expensive. We find a lot of fatty meats, for example, are very pricey nowadays. I don't know when people have gone out and had a look at the price of meat per kilogram. Also, the seasonal availability of fish. Even if they can't catch the fish immediately, you find that some of it is already pickled, for example. Whether that's the herring, the mackerel, and salmon, etc.
Yeah.
And then things like kale, cabbage, broccoli, they're available almost throughout in terms of seasonal produce.
Yeah.
So you think about that. So affordability, a big component. And the second component being obviously a diet that's really rich in omega-3 particularly.
Yeah.
And that's why we find it quite beneficial. The taste, the palates of South Africans. We love our putu and pap. We love so many other tastes that are ethnic to us. And that's where I think the greatest challenge is. It's not the taste buds, you know, it doesn't suit the taste buds of all South Africans, certainly.
Yeah. Well, are you looking at integrating it a little bit into your diet?
Well, I like the component. I do integrate a lot of salmon, you know, the good fats into my diet. That's why people love things like sushi, for example, here, and a big craze around sushi, obviously, as well.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to our chat with you a little bit later on. It is, after all, Medical Tuesday.
Indeed.
Let us know what you think about this Nordic diet, whether you are trying some other new diets in your everyday life. And, of course, when you share your thoughts with us, use #ExpressoShow.
100%.